Have you ever wondered what it feels like to be erased in your own family? To stand in a room full of people who share your blood and still feel like a ghost no one sees? That was my life. My name is Megan Rose Parker. I'm 28 years old, and for as long as I can remember, I've been the shadow in my own family. My sister Jessica was the golden child, the one who could do no wrong. And me? I was the afterthought, the tolerated mistake, the background character in my own story. The breaking point came the day before Jessica's wedding in Woodhaven, Kansas. I had spent weeks pouring every ounce of myself into planning her big day. Late nights making decorations, double-checking orders, praying that maybe, just maybe, this time they would notice me. But when I carried the last box of centerpieces into the living room, I realized one was missing. A tiny mistake after weeks of exhaustion. Patricia, my mother, spotted it instantly. Her eyes narrowed, her voice sharp enough to slice through me. "You forgot. Jessica deserves perfection, and you've ruined it again." My father didn't soften the blow. His eyes were cold, his voice steady, like a judge delivering a sentence. "The greatest gift you could give your sister's wedding is to disappear from this family permanently." Those words didn't just sting, they shattered me. Jessica stood nearby, silent, not defending me, not even looking my way. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just set the box down, grabbed my keys, and walked out. That door didn't just close behind me. It slammed shut on a lifetime of trying to belong. And as I drove away, one thought burned in my mind. If they wanted me gone, maybe disappearing was the only way I could finally be free. Before we continue, please subscribe to the channel and let us know where you're listening from in the comments. Growing up in Woodhaven, our house looked perfect from the outside. A white porch, trimmed lawn, neighbors who waved with admiration. But inside, perfection was reserved for Jessica. She was 4 years older, a natural achiever, straight A's, trophies, leadership roles. My mother, Patricia, would beam, retelling her victories at every dinner. "Your sister's a natural leader," she'd brag. My father, Michael, would nod proudly. "She's everything we hoped for." And then there was me. When I won an art contest at 8, Patricia barely glanced at the certificate. "Cute hobby," she muttered, before announcing Jessica's math award as the real accomplishment. If Jessica and I fought over toys, Patricia scolded me for being selfish, while Michael gave me a half-hearted pat on the shoulder. "Let it go, kiddo. Family harmony matters." By middle school, I stopped trying to shine. Why compete when the winner was already chosen? I tucked away my dreams, a career in marketing, maybe moving to the city, and convinced myself that being the dependable, quiet daughter would earn love someday. But deep down, I knew the truth. No matter what I gave, I would always be invisible. So when Jessica announced her engagement, I saw my last chance. I threw myself into her wedding like my life depended on it. Negotiating with vendors late at night. Designing handmade place cards. Spending my savings on a vintage sapphire necklace I thought she'd treasure forever. I believed that if I made her day perfect, maybe, finally, they'd say the words I had chased my whole life. "Good job, Megan." But instead, the criticism only grew sharper. Patricia dismissed my catering menu. "Your sister would have picked something more elegant." Michael barely looked up from his ledger. "Don't mess this up. She deserves perfection." Jessica herself was detached, replying to my texts with vague, "looks fine," or "whatever you think." Even her fiancé, David, barely looked up from his phone. Still, I pushed forward. Barn venue booked. Photographer lined up. Decorations ready. I told myself approval was just one moment away. Until the missing box. One fragile slip. Patricia's voice struck like a whip. "You're careless. Always have been." Michael's verdict sealed my fate. Disappear from this family permanently. And so I did. That night, alone in my kitchen, their words echoed like a cruel verdict. Disappear permanently. For years, I had swallowed insults, begged for affection, convinced myself that loyalty would buy love. But in that moment, I saw the truth. They didn't want me. And for the first time, I realized I didn't have to want them either. I made a choice, not to cry, not to beg, but to vanish. The next morning, I sold my apartment at a loss just for speed. I froze the joint accounts I had contributed to, ensuring they couldn't drain away the last of my sacrifices. I resigned from my job with a single calm phone call. When it came time to pack, I didn't take much. A few clothes, my laptop, an old journal, and a necklace for my art teacher. Everything else, furniture, dishes, memories, I left behind. With 2 suitcases in my trunk, I turned the ignition. I wasn't running away. I was breaking free. Days later, I landed in Tidewater, South Carolina, a quiet coastal town where the air smelled of salt and the streets felt untouched by my past. I rented a weathered little cottage under the name Lane Parker, using my middle name as a shield between who I was and who I wanted to be. The cottage wasn't perfect, creaky floors, leaky faucets, but it was mine. To survive, I built a small freelancing website, taking marketing gigs online. Each project, logos, social posts, reminded me that my skills had value, even without their approval. One morning at Saltwater Brew Cafe, Maria, the owner, smiled and said, "New face, huh? Tidewater's good for fresh starts." Simple words, but they felt like warmth I'd never known. Just when I started breathing again, my past clawed back. My old phone buzzed with a community page notification. Patricia's post for the whole town to see. My daughter abandoned us and stole family money, ruining Jessica's wedding. Michael chimed in. We trusted her, and she betrayed us. Strangers piled on. Jessica stayed silent publicly, but sent me a private message. You didn't have to abandon us like this. But I checked with Stephen, my lawyer. The trust was intact. My contributions were still paying Patricia's bills, but her attempts to withdraw thousands for the wedding had been blocked. The truth was on my side. Facts, however, don't always silence gossip. Then came Patricia's message. Your mother's in the hospital. Come home. For a second, my chest tightened, until Dr. Evans, her doctor, emailed me privately. She's stable. Emotional stress, not life-threatening. Another ploy. Another trap. Jessica followed with an apology. I'm sorry. They were out of line. Please call. But I remembered her silence when I needed her most. This time, guilt didn't win. I held firm. I had broken free. And I wasn't going back. Weeks turned into months. Tidewater became more than a hiding place. It became home. My freelance work grew. Maria's cafe became a safe haven, and the silence that once scared me now felt like freedom. Patricia's last text, we're family. Come home. Jessica's last email, I miss you. Michael stayed silent. And this time so did I. One evening, I sat on the porch of my cottage, watching the marsh glow under the sunset. For the first time in my life, I felt whole. Not because someone finally approved of me, but because I had chosen myself. That's when I understood. I hadn't disappeared to punish them. I had disappeared to save myself. Because sometimes the bravest choice isn't fighting to stay in a toxic family, it's walking away. Loving yourself enough to choose peace over chains. Survival over silence. Megan's story is a reminder. Sometimes the people we call family are the very ones who wound us most. But walking away isn't weakness. It's courage. The moment you decide that your peace, your dignity, and your happiness matter too. Your worth is not defined by who rejects you. Your worth shines brightest when you have the strength to start over and choose peace.